We got the Super Click, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express in a 6-man Falls Count Anywhere tag team match. This was all over the place. I enjoyed it, but I will say this was definitely the weakest match on the show up to this point, and probably, looking at the entire card, probably one of the weakest matches, period. This followed by Cody and Pac versus Malachi and Andrade was like the lowest point of the show. I don't know why you would do a Falls Count Anywhere street fight on the same show where you would do a Minneapolis street fight. I thought they made good use of the stipulation, a lot of chaotic shit and whatever. I know you're not a big Bucks fan, I totally get that. I thought they made the most of the stipulation, but I don't know. I mean, it was a good match, another one of those matches where if I had to pick off one or two matches from this show, this would be one of them. And it wasn't the fact it was a hardcore match, it was the fact that it was just, I don't know, it just went overly long, way too fucking long. I think that was my biggest knock against the match. It was like over 20 minutes when it easily could have been 12 or 13, if that. So I'm glad the Super Click, or rather, I'm glad Jurassic Express and Christian Cage went over, though. So I appreciated the outcome.
No, I thought this was a good match. I'm not a big fan of the street fights, especially, or no, this was Falls Count Anywhere, whatever, it's the same difference. Basically a street fight at that point, so I thought it was fine. Like, it just, the only issue I had with this was, like, later on in the show, we basically got the same thing, just with different people. Obviously, they did different spots, but, I mean, when they pull out every weapon under the sun, and then later on the night, they pull out even more ridiculous things, it kind of makes the second one, like, it kind of hurts the first one, but, I mean, I'm fine that Adam Cole didn't lose. I mean, that's probably the biggest outcome of this match, and I'm hoping this kind of starts planting the seeds for the breakup between Cole and the Elite.
I hope it leads to the breakup of both trios. I don't think Cage needs to be with Jurassic Express. I don't think Cole needs to be with the Bucks. We talked a little bit about an Undisputed Era Elite match last week and how awesome that would be. Or no, did we? I don't remember. I'm trying to think. Oh, no, we did. We did. We saw the interaction on Dynamite. I'm trying to think if we saw it on Rampage or not, but it was on Dynamite. I think I mentioned this to you, but could you see a scenario where maybe Christian Cage tries to drive a wedge between Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and maybe he's the one to go heel here, and that's where this is going? Because it seemed like he was kind of pushing Jungle Boy to be the one to use the Concerto, kind of go to the dark side a little bit. I'm glad we're getting more of a serious Jungle Boy, but I'm thinking this might lead to a Cage heel turn where he turns on Jungle Boy, and that's the feed we get from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if you want to keep Jungle Boy's momentum going and kind of being like that white meat babyface or just pushing him as a big babyface, I mean, Christian turning on him, I mean, that'll definitely get him a lot of cheers from the crowd. And I feel like Christian's better as a heel, honestly. I feel like he's kind of like that slimy, just like Edge. I feel like they're both just kind of like slimy heels. I think that would help Jungle Boy a lot. I mean, I don't really care about him and Luchasaurus, but I feel like Jungle Boy has a ton of potential by himself.
Yeah, I think it'd be better. I like Jurassic Express, but I just think there's not much more. If they're not going to put the tag titles on them, which they won't, they already lost to Lucha Bros a few months ago. They've lost every shot they've gotten at the tag team titles. It's just, I think it's weird they would have never put the belts on them, but I guess it was never the right time because they're just so over. But at this point, I would rather see them focus more on Jungle Boy as a single star. I'm a little surprised, too. I just realized randomly the other day, we haven't seen Marco Stunt in a while, which I'm very pleasantly surprised by.
I mean, good. He brings nothing to the act.
I feel like AEW is slowly moving on from like the gimmicky Joey Janela's, Marco Stunts, the GCW goofs, and not everything on the show is great, obviously. A lot of the Elite stuff is really too goofy for me personally, but I feel like they're slowly weeding out some of those goofy indie acts that we were getting in the early days of AEW.
Well, easily now. They're actually getting stars now. Actually, stars absolutely handed to them by the WWE, so I feel like this show was probably one of the, no, I don't know if it's the first one, but this show, basically every match had a little WWE in it, basically, and I feel like it showed. I feel like it was a pretty well-wrestled show, and besides the opener, I'm looking here, every other match had someone from WWE, at least one time in WWE in this match, so I think once you start getting legitimate stars, you can start weeding out the people that they just brought in at first, so they needed talent, but I mean, they are building a hell of a roster, and I feel like the shows are showing that. Yeah,
most definitely. I agree. I would agree with that. Like I said, I agree with Christian Cage being better as a heel as well, and you know who's better as a heel, too? Cody Rhodes, and he was back in action on the show.